right, there it is. Got her loaded, locked down. Put the magnetic taillights on there. I didn't have time. My welding gun had messed up. I ordered a new one. I didn't get it in time, so I didn't put my tire holders there. So I got going across where they're in between the spokes. Keep that front tire from turning. And got her tied down in 4 points. So she ain't going in. Alrighty, we are arrival at the Days Inn in Clayton. That's where we're staying tonight. Maybe Sunday, I don't know. Got up here after a couple hour drive. 390's ready to go. Dallas was here. We don't know where he went. Daddy. He's getting ready. The big Days Inn. 3 to 4 days of riding. Yep. Alrighty. You ready? I'm ready. Well, once again, I managed to break my GoPro mod. So I basically lost all of the audio over the next 3 days of riding a route that we called the Carolina Loop. The lost audio wasn't the only trouble that we endured over the next couple of days of riding. The first stage was supposed to take us from Lake Monk, Georgia, over to Maggie Valley, North Carolina. The original plan was to drop down into South Carolina and make our way north. However, South Carolina became a logistical nightmare as most of the route that I'd planned was to take us through the Jocassee Gorge. Little did I know that just about every road through the gorge is closed to vehicle traffic, so we called an audible and erased South Carolina from our route. We parked our vehicles at a buddy's house at Lake Seed and started making our way north from Lake Mont, Georgia. We first hit a local road right outside of Clayton named South Billy Branch Road. We had ridden that section a couple of years ago, and for a county name road, it is surprisingly isn't much more than a pig trail. Nevertheless, it is a fun section of road. So the plotted route was supposed to take us from South Billy Branch Road to North Billy Branch Road. We were going to traverse that to Keener Road, which was a route that I'd found on Gaia, and it also showed us an open road on the Ride with GPS app. The game plan was to take Keener west over to Patterson Gap Road. However, in true mild hog fashion, we discovered that Keener Gap Road was gated. So once we discovered that Keener was closed, we continued north and we picked up a local road called Neville Road. Neville Road is a road that runs parallel to Betty Creek Road. So if you're going either counterclockwise or clockwise on Betty Creek Road, just drop about a half mile shy and you can pick up Neville Road. It's a nice paved road that goes through a nice countryside and it takes you over to Patterson Gap. So upon arriving at Patterson Gap, we had found out that the road had taken a beating from the storms that had hit the region a few weeks before our ride. That threw a little concern as we were heading towards Popcorn Creek and we were going to jump on the Popcorn alternate road. If you've never rode Patterson Gap Road, it basically is the road that will take you to the Tallulah River crossing so you can cross over and take Charlie's Creek. So once we made the turn off from Popcorn Creek onto the alternate Popcorn Creek Road, we really weren't sure what to expect, as I've seen a bunch of videos where the trail can be severely rutted out. But luckily it hadn't rained for the entire week prior to our ride, so it made the route actually pretty enjoyable. A little bit of a technical route, but it was one of those things where if it had been raining or if you were riding in the middle of a rain, it could be a treacherous alternate route because of the fact that with the Georgia clay, you can't tell how deep the ruts are, and some of the ruts were a couple foot deep. So it's just something to keep in mind if you're going to be riding that way. So our original game plan was to loop from the south end of Popcorn Road and ride over to Charlie's Creek and then cross back over the Tallulah. But two things happened. First, we got a very late start that morning, so that put us behind the 8 ball. Secondly, two of the guys thought that they had more fuel than they had. In other words, they didn't fill up before we left. That caused us to have to detour over to Hiwassee for fuel, and we ended up having a late lunch. That turned out to be a good call, as one of the guys put in 5.3 gallons on a 5.3 gallon tank. And unfortunately, the problems that we ran into was what I was worried about when I was plotting this route, because we were plotting the unknown. I did as much research as possible on what was open, what was closed, that kind of thing. So the popcorn alternate of the Chattahoochee BDRX turned out to be a great, about a 5 or 6 mile loop, somewhere in there. Once again, it was nice and dry, so you could see where you're going, you could dip down into the ruts, and it wasn't an issue. However, if it had been raining or it was starting to rain, I would probably advise skipping that section, because Georgia clay is slick as snot, for one, and then two, like I mentioned before, you cannot tell how deep that the ruts are once they fill up. So our route took us over Sky Valley into North Carolina, which is part of the Chattahoochee BDRX ride. The game plan was to go on some dirt roads that I'd plotted out that would skirt around the north side of Highlands. We ended up finding that some of the roads were pristine, nice dirt, gravel combination type roads. However, we eventually came to a road that basically stated that it was posted a private road, do not trespass. However, looking at Guy and looking at Ride with GPS, that so-called private road led to a national forest road that we needed to take to get to the north side of Highlands, which was going to lead us up to Maggie Valley. So we decided to go ahead and take a peek down this so-called private road, and we got about a mile down, and we stopped to get our bearings, and about that time, a granny popped out from behind the bushes, and she started letting us have it about it being a private road and that we needed to turn around. Tried to ask her some questions, but she wasn't having any of it. She was adamant, pointing and yelling. So we did the right thing. We turned around and started making our way back out the way we come in to see if we could regroup and see if we can work our way around Highland. So we quickly learned that coming across this first private, quote-unquote, private road in North Carolina was going to be the first of many to come. We ran into multiple issues the second day, which we'll get into on the next video. However, we did what we always do. We sit down, replotted, and started making our way back over towards trying to pick up the roundabout way to get to our original route. Luckily for us, that led us over to Bridal Falls, which is an absolutely stunning waterfall that is over just on the northwest side, I guess, of Highlands. So we made our way over, stopped, did some picture opportunities, and definitely if you're in the area of Highlands, North Carolina, for whatever reason, make sure that you look up Bridal Falls. There are several other falls in the area, but Bridal Falls is the one that's right on the main road, and it's a spectacular waterfall.
Man, this should just keep going up. Yeah. Wow. Up here somewhere.
All right, so this is Bridal Falls outside of Highlands, North Carolina. Pretty nice waterfall. Just gotta watch for the Fast and Furious jackasses. We just had like 9 of them blow by us. Even though that we ran out of dirt road, we had a pretty long stretch to get to Maggie Valley. However, the positive thing was we found ourselves on the Colowee Mountain Road in the North Carolina mountains. It is approximately a 10-mile stretch of highway that rivals the Tail of the Dragon, a spectacular road with probably almost as many twists and turns that the Dragon has to offer. So we ended up pulling into the town of Waynesville around 7 p.m., had a nice Italian dinner, and then we ended up finishing 10 miles of the ride to get to our Verbo. All right, we finally made it to the Verbo. What a long day. A couple of guys ran lower on gas, didn't realize it, so we had to divert to Hiwassee, which probably added another at least 30 miles. We ran into roads that I had chartered that were dead-end roads. Had to backtrack, got yelled at some lady for being on private property, which showed that it was an open road. 190.5 miles today. Good ride, weather was perfect. We couldn't beat it. Just a long day on the bikes. We are at the Verbo, and I'll flip around and show you the Verbo. So as a lot of people know, a couple of our guys refused to camp, so we ended up having to do Verbos. Verbo I found is just north of Maggie Valley. It's listed as Waynesville, I guess, for the postal address, but really nice Verbo. I think it's got a total of 4 rooms, so pretty nice place. Dallas, I just texted Randall, told me he would kill us, 190.5 miles. Joe, how you feeling? First day? I know, Hank's in the shower now. He's gonna run all the water. Ooh, there's a pool down there. I wonder if we can, I know. But, I know. Nice Verbo though. Everybody's bikes did good today. Ran fine. Like I said, we had to backtrack quite a bit on a couple of closed roads, and it just turned into an extremely long day. But hey, it was fun. That's all that matters.